The biggest game left on the Buffalo Bills schedule is this week against the New England Patriots. If Buffalo wins, they still have a shot at the AFC East. If the Pats win, the division title is theirs. On today's show, we have some must-see news for Buffalo Bills fans and New England Patriots fans alike, as we're going to go through the first injury report of the week as you're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Tyler Smith. Now, first order of business. Dawson Knox, who had his best game in years for the Buffalo Bills this past week against the Cincinnati Bengals. He did not practice on Wednesday, but it is for personal reasons, and it doesn't really matter too much considering that this was a walkthrough practice by the Buffalo Bills. There were still limited designations. There were full and DNP designations, but Dawson Knox is going to be playing this week. Just had a personal thing going on. Don't want to make any Bills fans too nervous about that one. We'll get into the rest of the injury news you need to know in just a moment, but first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is kind of why you subscribe. Whenever we get Bills news, you know we're bringing you a video right here at the Bills Breakdown, and we are very, very close to our major milestone of 10,000 subs. Can we hit it before we go live this week against the New England Patriots? Because, yeah, we're going to be live once again here on the channel for Bills versus Pats. Hit that subscribe button so we can get to 10K before the live stream gets underway. Alrighty. Bills, same names. I mean, we've known this for a while now. All four of these guys did not play this past week against Cincinnati, and they're still all limited in the opening practice of the week. We're going to learn a little bit more about these injuries on Thursday when that injury report comes out, because that'll be a full practice for Buffalo. But Terrel Bernard still dealing with the elbow injury. Matt Milano with the face mask ran into his arm while trying to make a tackle. Joey Bosa dealing with the hamstring. And then it was interesting that I saw the wrist injury back up on the injury report, something he's been dealing with over the past few weeks. But I think we have some encouraging news on Joey Bosa. Spencer Brown, likewise, he said he's going to go out there and play, dealing with the shoulder injury, got banged up as the Bills were dealing with that ferocious pass rush of the Houston Texans. And then Josh Palmer dealing with the ankle. We have more on Palmer in a second, but it's just really been a rough go of it for JP for the first year of his Bills tenure at this point. Now, some full participants, because we'll talk about those guys in just a second. Cole Bishop dealing with the calf injury, and that was, I guess, what he was cramping up with in the Cincinnati Bengal game. He didn't have to miss any time, but interesting to know that he is on the injury report here. Full participant, though, through the walkthrough. And then Dalton Kincaid, great news there as well. Sean McDermott's been talking him up that he sees no real roadblocks ahead for Dalton Kincaid. Everything is going to be trending in the positive direction, and he's not going to be missing any more time unless he brings a new injury along. But that knee still keeping him on the injury report this week. Now, let's get back to the limited participant guys, because one of them being Joey Bosa. Getting Joey Bosa back would be massive for the Buffalo Bills. They only pressured Drake May 11 times in Week 5. Now, Bosa was a part of that unit, but certainly would be a welcome addition back to this Bills pass rush this week. He leads the Bills in all major categories. He actually leads the NFL in forced fumbles. But at the end of the day, the priority is having Joey Bosa at 100% for the playoffs. And that's not because of this injury that's going on now. You look back all the way to the preseason, all the way back to training camp. The Bills talking about limiting Joey Bosa's snap count. That was before all the injuries they had on the defensive line, of course, as well. But the priority is to have him 100% for the playoffs so he can have those 70, 80% snap counts when the postseason rolls around. So, quickly, let's run through what you guys should expect for the Buffalo Bills this week as far as the guys who are limited on Wednesday. Terrel Bernard, I would give it a TBD, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. I think he could go, but there could be a good reason as far as why the Bills should sit him another week and get him to 110%. Joey Bosa, I expect Joey Bosa to play this week. Spencer Brown, he told media straight up, I'm good to go. I'm going to play this upcoming matchup. But Bosa, I do think that he tries to gut it out there and get out there because it's a major matchup. It could end up putting the Bills on a collision course to potentially winning the AFC East this week. So with a do-or-die kind of matchup like that, expect Joey Bosa to get out there and play. I would expect Josh Palmer, though, to end up sitting again another week. Sean McDermott said all four of these guys have a chance to play. He didn't say that they're all four are going to play. And I think Josh Palmer is going to be one of the ones that ends up sitting. More on that in a moment. Let's talk about Terrel Bernard real quick, because I think Terrel Bernard can sit this week just because of how damn good Shaq Thompson has been. I mean, he's leading the Bills in tackles over the last 2 weeks. It feels like he has been the catalyst for the Bills' run defense being as transformed as it has been over the past month or so. Through the first 12 weeks of the season, the Bills were the worst run defense in all of football. Past 2 weeks now, they have put up a bunch more points. Teams have had to play from behind, but their run defense has been way, way better, and they've been limiting their opponents over the past 2 weeks to less than 3.5 yards a carry. So It's been awesome to see Shaq Thompson make a major impact, and I don't know how you get him off the football field at this point. He has to be out there if the Bills want to have any semblance of a run defense. Sorry, Terrel Bernard, but I don't know if that extension that Brenden Beane signed him to this offseason is looking too great or too promising for the future now, and Thompson's just playing better than you at this point. Let's move on to Josh Palmer here, who did say and spoke to media about this whole rehab and recovery process that's been quite treacherous for him, to be honest. He's dealt with setbacks. He's dealt with the ankle not getting better and not healing to the point where he could be out there on the football field. He said, quote, "It's hard to play and be getting worse at the same time." So, they're really taking the precaution with him, sitting him out as long as they possibly need to, getting all the procedures done that they need to get done with Josh Palmer so that he can be out there and play in this Bills receiving core that we know is bad, guys. There isn't really an adjective to use anymore other than bad. Khalil Shakir, even if the Bills wanted to use him downfield, he's not the best downfield threat. Keon Coleman has an energy problem. Brandon Cooks, he's had one catch in his Bills tenure so far. And Gabe Davis, Gabe Davis is cool, but that's going to be your number one wide receiver heading into the postseason. Need Josh Palmer back ASAP. With that being said, I don't think he's going to play this week. So who needs to step up for your Buffalo Bills? Comment down below one of these three cats. Gabe Davis, type of GD. Keon Coleman, type of KC. Brandon Cooks, type of BC. And maybe if you're thinking about another Bills receiver, maybe Tyrell Shavers needs to go out there and have a big game. Type something like that down below in the comment section. All right, before we move on to the Patriots stuff, I want to give Bills fans a little reassurance here ahead of Week 15. What we can count on Sean McDermott to do is have his guys ready. If you look to to recent history as far as when the Bills have played an opponent the second time in a season after losing in their first matchup, it is automatic. Looking back to 2021, Bills lose the Patriots in Week 13. They beat them in the playoffs. Same deal happened in 2022 against the Jets in Week 9. Beat them in Week 14. Oh, look at this, 2022. Lost the Dolphins in Week 3. Beat them in the playoffs. You also lost them in Week 3 and then beat them in Week 15 as well. In 2023, you lost to the Patriots Week 7. You beat the Patriots Week 17. Lost to the Jets Week 1. In 2023, beat them in Week 11. That was the Aaron Rodgers Achilles game. Also in 2024, you lost the Ravens Week 4. Oh, look at that. You beat the Ravens in the playoffs when nobody thought you would. So I think that the Bills are going to have a pretty good shot this week against the New England Patriots team who's dealing with a lot more injuries than they were in Week 5. That's what we're going to talk about on the back half of today's show. Patriots injury report, what it means, who could not play, who could sit, and one key matchup that I'm looking at in this game at the end of today's show. That in just a moment. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, folks, the best time of year with bowl games, basketball matchups, and playoff pushes all happening at once. And with you and I making decisions every day on what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where making decisions and being right on them can get you paid, and that is Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. All you guys got to do is pick up 2 or more players and pick more or less on their projected stats. You can win real money watching your favorite sports. I'm talking up to 2,000 times your money with one single lineup. Prize Picks is the best, though, because they offer the best features, like stacks. Wanting to put multiple stat projections from the same player in the same lineup? You can do so only on Prize Picks, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. You can also copy other players' picks, like from celebrities or from your friends or even from myself, and put their picks into your own using the brand new feed tab. My picks for this weekend's matchup? Yeah, I got them. Dalton Kincaid, more than 41.5 receiving yards. He's the best receiver on this damn roster, for God's sakes. You got James Cook. I'm throwing a stack in there. Yes, sir. More than 19 rushing attempts because I think the Bills are going to have a good time running the football this week. And then I got him to get in the paint as well after a couple of lackluster weeks in a row. I got Mac Hollins with a little bit of a revenge game here. More than 16.5 yards on his longest reception. Prize Picks offers so many fun features and squares like that. You can tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at Prize Picks. And download the app today. Use that code CLNS. You can see in the bottom right of your screen to get $50 in lineups instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Code CLNS, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, so some full participants. Don't have to talk about him too much because I'm not going to lie, I don't know anything about Brandon Schuler. Is he good? Is he not good? Don't really care, to be honest with you. Khyiris Tonga, he's more of a special teams player from what I was hearing from Patriots Today host Brett Alper, F. Alper. LG Jared Wilson dealing with the ankle. Their left guard there, who's one of their better offensive linemen. He's been out for the past couple of weeks, but he seems to be all the way back coming out of the New England Patriots bye, and that's a huge addition when you consider that left tackle Will Campbell, he's on injured reserve right now. Bills got to get to Drake May. Limited on Wednesday for the Pats. You got Christian Barmore. He's dealing with some non-injury related stuff. I guess this is the Patriots' way of saying personal reasons, but Again, that's limited. So I don't really know what the mystery is there with Christian Barmore. I would assume that he plays, no questions asked. You got Harold Landry, though, with a knee injury. That is huge. Like, there's a chance he might not play this week. Vederian Lowe, I mean, Patriots fans would probably be happy if he didn't play. He's dealing with an abdomen. Their swing tackle there. But that would mean if he's not able to go, what do they have, like a third-string left tackle in there? Bills would be feasting. All right, also on the Pats injury report, quickly here, Terrell Jennings has a concussion. He did not practice on Wednesday, one of the Pats' RBs, but it's really a two-headed attack there. It's Travion Henderson and it's Ramondre Stevenson. So I would expect the bulk of the work to go to those guys, obviously, and I don't think Bills fans have to worry about the absence of Terrell Jennings too much. Let's talk about Harold Landry, though, because that's a big-time loss for the New England Patriots. A trade deadline acquisition who's just one of the best edge rushers in all of football, and he's just been balling so far this year, man. 26 tackles, 23 of them being stops at the line of scrimmage, which is insane. 8 sacks so far, including 46 pressures through 13 games. I mean, that's real baller stuff right there. And grading above average as well per PFF, but the raw numbers on screen tell the story for yourselves. Harold Landry, the third, is an amazing edge rusher, and clearly somebody the Patriots thought they had to add at the deadline in order to get over the hump. If he's not able to go this week, Bills are going to have a good time protecting Josh Allen. Because the Patriots, they did pressure Josh Allen a ton in Week 5. 28 times. I saw 21 originally. Then I ended up looking deeper into the actual game report, and it said 28 pressures on Josh Allen. He had 31 pass attempts. I'm sure a couple more dropbacks than just that. But, man, what is that, like a 75% pressure rate? Or it's definitely over 50%, I'll tell you that much. Too many pressures. So Bills' offensive line's got to be on their P's and Q's. Hopefully Spencer Brown playing in this game doesn't mean that he's not at 100% because Ryan Vandermark's been pretty solid over the last couple of weeks. Don't want to deal with anything that would make the Bills in a more disadvantageous spot than they would be in previously. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Pats because if they're not going to have Harold Landry, who's got some run stops at the line of scrimmage, they're also not going to have Milton Williams, their stud defensive tackle there alongside Christian Barmore. With no Milton Williams in the lineup, we've shown you guys the stats the last couple of days. If you've been watching the shows, the Patriots' run defense has fallen off of a cliff. So, if the Bills can run the ball, and if they could stop the Patriots' rushing attack, which I don't think should be too difficult, they're not really one of the better rushing teams in the league, do that, take Stephon Diggs away, Bills get an easy win here in Foxborough. I'm serious. Like I think that if you do these things, you outgain the Patriots on the ground, especially if you outgain them by over 100 yards, you're going to win this game. If you take away the guy who went off against you in Week 5, yeah, our old friend Stephon Diggs, 146 yards on 10 receptions, 12 targets. He diced you all game long and should have had a touchdown, honestly. He was dropped at the 1-yard line. If you can take away Stephon Diggs in this game, you are going to win. And I think the matchup that he's going to see in this game is a lot different than the one that he saw in Week 5. It might be the same player in Christian Benford, but it is not the same Christian Benford at this point. Look at his last 2 weeks, folks. Well, who's doing this? Who is doing this? 1 catch, 2 yards allowed. Do you know who he faced these past 2 weeks? Jamar Chase, for God's sakes. 2 interceptions, 1 being a pick 6 right in Joe Burrow's grill. 1 fumble return touchdown after Joey Bosa strip sacked Aaron Rodgers. Shout out to Joey Bosa. Had a sack himself as well, though, in that Bengal game. Sent off the edge on a blitz by Bobby Babich. Second, want to know what happened on the second blitz that he was sent on? Yeah, that right there. And he's got a 90.1 PFF grade. He's making an all-pro push. He's certainly making a Pro Bowl push. If you're not voting Christian Benford to the Pro Bowl right now, what are you doing? Guys make it damn near a Defensive Player of the Year push at this point. So, with that being said, 2 Titans going head-to-head in Week 15. Who wins the battle? If it's Stephon Diggs, give me an 8 in the comment section. If it's Christian Benford, drop his number, 47, down below. As that will do it for today's show. Give me a follow over on Twitter. We can talk about it more. I'll be live tweeting the game as well, at Tyler J. Smith, 2 H's because the name's common, but I am not. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. YouTube.com/Bills News for the latest and greatest on your Buffalo Bills. Join us Sunday for Bills versus Patriots. We'll see you guys all then. And as always, let's go, Buffalo.